Good morning and welcome to another pre-market review session with the Market Trader. My name's Ray, the Market Trader. And before we get started, we'll need to go through our obligatory risk disclosure. So let's go ahead and do that. So just want to remind everyone that the content that's being published and distributed by the Market Trader is to be used as general information only. None of the information provided by the company or contained herein is intended as investment advice and offered to buy, sell, recommend, endorse, sponsor any security, company, or fund. We all understand that the use of this information contained herein is to be used at your own risk, and the company, its partners, representatives, agents, employees, and contractors assume no responsibility or liability for any use or misuse of such information. We all understand that future trading does carry a fair amount of risk. It's not for every investor. Investor could potentially lose all or more of their investment capital. Only risk capital money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle should be used for trading, and only those individuals with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Again, nothing contained herein is a solicitation or an offer to buy, sell futures, options, or Forex, and past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, let's pop this in again and see. I'm just going to have to display this here for a few seconds here, guys. Hopefully that is now visible. If I can get some confirmation that it is visible. Okay. All right. Perfect. All right, guys. So let's now move toward the financial portal, actually specifically the news portal, and see what we have in the way of news today that could potentially impact the markets. All right, let's go ahead and do that. Let's our screen here again. Hopefully that's visible to folks. So I'll pause here for a few seconds and ensure that it is indeed visible, and then we'll go ahead and review. All right. All right. So again, I would say fairly light in the way of news today. We have a number of Fed members speaking today throughout the morning and early afternoon. So we have Fed member Williams speaking at 9:45, Fed member Musallam speaking at 10 a.m. Then we have Fed member Moran and Hammock and Barkin coming in at noon. Okay. And then we have a White House briefing at 1 p.m. And then some findings that Trump will be announcing on medical findings. Okay. But again, I would say relatively light in the way of news. Okay. Obviously tomorrow, and as we progress through the week, more and more impactful news will come into the markets, especially on let's see, Thursday. Was that Wednesday? So this is today, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday seems to be a quite impactful day, as well as Friday. Okay, so Thursday and Friday appear to be pretty impactful days as far as news that could potentially move the markets, as noted by the red lightning bolts against these news items here. Okay. All right. So now that we've gotten through the news here, guys, we'll go ahead and start to take a look at the portal here, and specifically start to look at the markets and get a sense for what the market is trying to get some context of them on the markets. Okay, so let's go ahead and pause this here for a moment and turn our attention to the markets. All right, so hopefully everyone can see my chart of gold. Okay, gold took a nice run here overnight. Again, another nice 200%, 400% opportunity in the gold market to the upside. So let's take a look here at the daily chart. Again, you can see that we had a gap up open. Okay, we're going to go ahead and remove some of our drawings here. So we had a gap up open, indicating that there is a a good amount of interest here to the upside, that people were willing to pay a premium to be a part of this market. Okay, so a lot of pent up orders to the point that they basically started at a higher price. When there's more demand, prices go up. And that's exactly what happened in this case. We got basically booked our first price here at 37.21, got to a low of 37.18.10, and really haven't seen anything below that. Okay. So again, daily chart continues to indicate that there's more opportunity here to the upside, and there's interest here to the upside. Um, um, Taking a look here to see what kind of swing I can use here, maybe to allow me to evaluate things. Looks like we've already reached, at least appears to have reached some extension levels here. We'll take a look maybe at the lower time frame charts here to see, but I'm not seeing anything that I could maybe lean on to maybe forecast where price could go on the daily chart. Not seeing anything that big of a pullback to justify that, but we'll take a look at the lower time frame now and see what the lower time frame has to offer here. So we'll turn off the initial balance range here for a moment and take a look and see what the market on the 4-hour chart has to offers us here a little bit. Okay, so let's see here. We got again continuation moves here. You can see that the market continues to show strength to the upside. I'm going to go ahead and open up our visible range volume profile here just to the right. You can see now we're starting to enter some areas of low volume, indicating that we are maybe potentially moving into some sort of trend. This area right here would be an area of support here based on the volume profile. Right around 37 would be a logical area. You can see that was also a prior area of support, okay, or not support, resistance. So again, what was resistant becomes supportive here. Okay, so again, we saw a nice push outside this range. We have this volume, right? When there's little volume and price is moving, well, that's an indication that we are in some sort of trend. When we are consolidating or ranging, there's a lot of volume being traded, and as a result, we get kind of range or consolidating kind of price action. That's not really the case here, right? We have price above some of these ranges here based on what I display here as far as the volume profile. The less I display, the more obvious it becomes that we have this area here just above the visible range volume profile that indicates that could be somewhat supportive here. Okay, so let's go ahead now and move down to the 30-minute chart. Looking at the 30-minute chart here, we're going to take a look and see what the market has to offer here. We're going to do a little bit of analysis here, volume analysis, and get a sense for where price is in relation to Friday's price action here. So we'll go ahead and start with the start here and then drag that to the close. And you can see here that we have a fair amount of volume or price above value from Friday, and indicating that there is still quite a bit of interest here in this market to the upside. Okay, we're going to go now and then kind of do a little bit of some analysis on initial balance and see what participants were able to do here with respect to initial balance across all the various markets. So we'll start off with the not the day session, but the Asia session. Okay, take a look and see what Asia was able to do. Well, Asia, you can see here very, very clearly, right? They were able to take some initiative action here to drive price higher. Okay, so a fair number of buyers in Asia here. Okay, yes, 400% extension. Aslan, I think I need to start sleeping less and participating in this more. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at the London market, see what London was able to do here. Again, London also offered us an extension, not quite to the same degree as Asia, but nonetheless still reached the 100% extension before we found some sellers. Now they've managed to close price back inside value, okay, or back inside the initial balance range. So, okay, But now maybe there's a belief that maybe we'll maybe reach the other side of this range before we make any sort of significant move back to the upside. Kind of begs the question on whether we will revisit this prior area that we identified in on the 4-hour chart before we make any serious inroads or continuations to the upside in this market. Okay, so I would say that let's take a quick look here. Good morning, Gerardo. We're going to take a quick look here at the ADR levels. As you can see here, they've been exceeded. Okay, to the upside. Our statistical ranges have been exceeded to the upside. So again, the expectation that we would head too much further to the upside are I guess, a bit, remote. Okay, statistically. Okay, it's not to say that it can't, but we're already beyond our normal daily ranges in this market. Okay, so we've come back to this average daily range high. So this would be a logical area to see price stall and maybe continue. Maybe we remain in some sort of range during the US session. Okay, so let's take a look here now at the day session. All right, so day session, you can see that we're developing a relatively narrow initial balance range up against the ADR high, which could serve as a reference level, maybe again for a continuation move to the upside. Seems like a lot of participants, or maybe of the large variety, possibly got out of some longs here, right? Booked some profits in the move here, okay, from Asia all the way up to maybe pre-market here in the US. So it stands to reason that we could potentially, assuming that we can hold this level here, we could potentially revisit these highs in this market because the market still, even with this move down, guys, there has not, unless we look at this channel, right? Looking at the larger channel, we really technically have not broken any structure here to the downside, right? This is well within the range, right? And I've kind of hugged up against some of these candles here, right? If I'm taking this, we're still inside this range. Okay, we really haven't broken some structure unless we look at some structure here, the more recent channels, right? Certainly, we've broken some channel here to the downside here, right? But on the larger channel, we still are very much inside of it. Okay, so as long as price remains in this channel, I'm going to be looking maybe for opportunities, and this might be one such opportunity. I think there might be an opportunity where we kind of maybe extend down here to this prior area, revisit the conviction of these buyers that took the market outside this range. Would not be out of the realm of possibility here if we do revisit these levels before we make a higher move in this market. Nonetheless, a lot of overnight longs in this market. Maybe starting to see some these overnight longs booking some profits here. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead now and take a look at the crude oil market. I'm just seeing if there's anything else that I want to call out here. Let me just go ahead and add our VWAP and our EMAs. I don't know why these things disappear off my screen, but you can see that price is above our VWAP and above, well, actually not above our 9 EMA. So this is kind of our first indication. Let's remove some drawings here. Okay, so you can see that this is our first indication where we've seen price below our 9 EMA. So that's kind of an early indication that maybe we are seeing some slowness in the momentum to the upside. However, we still remain above VWAP, which indicates that we are still technically in some bullish territory. Okay, all right. Let's go ahead now and take a look at the crude oil market. Okay, looking at the crude oil market again. I don't know what to tell you other than we need to continue looking short here in this market. Seeing a lot of weakness in this market. I think also again offered us some nice opportunities during Asia here. But let's take a look at the daily chart. Again, we're developing yet another bearish candle in this market. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off my initial balance here for a moment. Leave the 9 EMA and visible range volume profile. Okay, so again, really nothing here to say other than we need to continue to look bearish in this market. Obviously, we are at a level that we could maybe potentially see some buyers, but the fact that we've come to this level not just once, twice, a third time. Maybe there was a belief here at some point. Maybe we were creating a little bit of a W pattern that could lead us higher. Well, that's kind of been foiled, right? We've gotten sellers kind of stepping into this and driving price lower. So daily chart still indicating very much that we are still in some bearish structure here. Looking at the 4-hour chart, 4-hour chart is below some of the things that we care about with respect to market sentiment. Price is below our 9 EMA, below our VWAP, okay, giving us indications that we are in some sort of trend to the downside. You can see that price is inside these low volume nodes, indicating again that we are in some sort of strong trend here to the downside, okay? So daily indicating a bearish, 4-hour also indicating bearish. So let's take a look here at the 30-minute chart. All right, 30-minute chart. Again, also giving us some indication. We might be maybe a tad extended here to the downside. With the extension, I'm kind of curious to see how far with respect to the ADR range. We're pretty close. Okay, I would say that I think it's a conclude. I would think that we would reach at least to 6160 before we see any sort of bounce in this market. And I would say that the bounce is probably going to be muted. Maybe back up to the 9 EMA, maybe as high as the VWAP around here, 62, 62.34 here. Okay. Yes, exactly, Aslan. You take a short in Asia, you watch this on a channel and never got an invalidation here. So let's take a look at that right now. All right, so we'll go ahead and open up the Tokyo market here and see what kind of initial balance range was established here. This actually happened during London, but technically the tail end of Asia into London. I would say that this move really happened more on the London side, but certainly had you taken a short here up at the I don't know what was maybe the 200% extension, Asia still managed to create a 200% extension in this market to the upside, given the very narrow range. Now you can see here that we saw a break, okay, of price below some of the things that we care about. And as Aslan mentioned here, right, there's really nothing here that indicates that, we should not be continuing to hold to the downside, right? You can see that we're starting to see maybe some candles here, maybe a little bit of a slowdown in momentum to the downside. But I would say that this, pretty fair destination would be the lower end of our average daily range. Okay, would not be an unrealistic destination for this market. Okay. All right, so let's take a look here. Although I think we know the answer to this question, we'll take a look at where price is in relation to Friday's price action. I think we know that. We know the answer to that, but we'll just go ahead and confirm because it offers us some levels of maybe some resistance coming back. So you can see here that we have an area here right around the edge of value here, visible range as well as the fixed range. We're going to go ahead and draw in our levels here. So this is going to be an area of some resistance, expectation that this area would be resistant in price to price. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and mark that as in red. Okay, so there's this 62.34, 62.35 level. Expectation is that if we were to rally, there's a lot of confluence here right now, guys. You can see that we have the value area low, we have VWAP, and we have basically the visible range and the fixed range kind of telling us the same information here. Okay, so this 62.35 level would be a nice retracement level to target and to stock, maybe for an opportunity to the downside. Okay, we have VWAP and among other things here that kind of would support that view. Okay, so again, Asia was initially higher, okay, in this market, and then we had a nice reversal during the London market. Okay, during London, we got a nice push to the downside. It was pretty swift. Did not dawdle here, right? So price came in, established the range. The moment we got a break of the initial balance range, participants came into this market and drove price lower here. Again, I seem to have lost my volume delta bars here, so we're going to go ahead and add those back. That gives me kind of a little bit of visibility. There's my multiples now. I've got multiples. Okay, I'm just curious here, what kind of volume we got as a result of this move. Okay. So again, you can see that the volume here down below generated a fair amount of interest here to the downside. Price was very much aligned with volume. We started to get some maybe buyers maybe trying to step in here, but have only been handed more sell orders. Okay. So in any case, the market continues to show signs of weakness. I would say that we need to find locations in this market um, of strength to sell. Okay, so we need to sell strength. Okay, at this point, right? I think that would be the operative word here. So so we're gonna go ahead. I don't know. We're not quite at the initial balance, so we'll leave it. Leave that alone for now. I'm kind of inclined here to draw my anchor VWAP at the start of London here, and that's kind of another kind of area, right, where we could maybe potentially take on some sort of execution here to the downside. Okay, so everything right now pointing to further downside price action. We're looking actually to break some daily levels, and with those daily levels, that could even spur maybe additional momentum to the downside. Now, where could this all stall? Well, I gave you an intermediate level here, a 61.59. But if we look at some daily levels here, if we do get below the 61.72 level, then really the next stop is 60.50, and then down to maybe even 56. Okay, so we're at an important juncture here in this market. I would say that if we do manage to close below, that could cause the market to continue to the downside with some momentum. Okay, so I would say that we need to continue to look for opportunities of pullbacks of this market to participate in this downside move. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm seeing in the crude oil. Really, nothing. Again, maybe a tad extended here now to the downside. We're starting to see maybe that we are getting a little bit of participation here to on the bullish side. This area here will be interesting around this ADR low, whether we get any sort of bounce away from that level. That would be a logical statistical level where we could see a potential reversal. But I would say that our view or reversal should be a bit muted. I don't expect necessarily going to the moon. I would expect maybe price, heading back to the 9 EMA, maybe the anchored VWAP from London or the daily VWAP would be logical destinations for this current structure that we're in right now. Okay. All right. So before we move on to the markets, I'm gonna kind of make my little plug here, and also maybe need the folks who have been kind of steady supporters of these markets, kind of requesting maybe encouraging you guys in your social media posts and whatnot to maybe encourage folks to attend this session. Okay. And share the fact of how this session is benefiting your analysis and your ability to understand the markets. Okay. In addition, of course, to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, make a comment or two inside the my channel there. Again, communicating how this analysis is supporting you. Okay. So again, my marketing is marketing, right? In order to kind of sustain my ability to do these kinds of things, obviously it needs to continue to be a worthwhile endeavor, right? So in any case, guys, I just wanted to kind of continue. Thank those who continue to support, and encourage those who have not yet supported to do so. And because I am making a concerted effort here to kind of reach the 1,000 subscriber milestone for this portal. Okay, I think we're hovering around 885, somewhere in that range. Yeah, I'm on X. I'm on X, Faye. I'm on X. So I actually post this link on X of this session. I probably need to make myself available on Instagram as well. But yes, my main two are X, and then maybe soon we'll add myself to Instagram as well. Okay. All right. So now that I've gotten through my little plug here of myself, which I'm not super comfortable doing, we'll go ahead and move on to the Nasdaq. All right. We'll take a look at the Nasdaq and see what the Nasdaq has to offer here. Okay. All right. So taking a look at the Nasdaq, we're looking at the daily chart. We're going to go ahead and remove all our lines here. Just really trying to get, again, this kind of an effort here that I always. I don't want. I want as clean a chart as I can, right? To do my analysis of the markets. Don't want to be encumbered with any sort of biases on anything. So just looking at this chart on the daily, right? Really nothing. I mean, maybe you can make an argument that maybe there's a little bit of a slowdown to the upside, but the market remains quite bullish. Okay, you can see that we're above the 9 EMA, which probably 9 EMA is probably more suited to a lower time frame. But nonetheless, we're above the 9 EMA. And if I had to add some sort of ribbon here, again, I thought I had some sort of ribbon, but I would expect that we're above some higher time frame levels as well here. Okay, so we got 9 EMA. Let's see if we can add a ribbon here of say maybe the 50 and the 200. Okay, so moving average ribbon. All right, so we got the 50 and the 200. Okay, so price again above a lot of these levels that we care about, indicating that we are in some sort of medium term bullish trend here. We had the what was that? The 50 looks like 50 cross above the oh, this is too many yellow colors here to make sense of all this, guys. So let me change some of these colors here. So we got the 20. Let's change that to maybe some sort of green, darker green maybe. And then we'll do the 50 in some sort of darker orange. And then we'll do the 100. I don't know why 101. Let's do 100 in some sort of purplish color. And then the 200, let's maybe a shade of pink. All right. Let's see how this all looks. Okay. All right. So again, all is you got the 200, the 100, the 50. Looks like we got the 9 obviously crossing above the 20. So in any case, guys, just looking at these ribbons, you can see that we are very much in a strong move to the downside. Price is not below our 9 EMA or anything of that sort. So there's still a fair amount of interest here to the upside in this market. All right. So looking at this again, also with the same ribbons, we'll close off the initial balance here for a moment. Kind of first indication, maybe we're starting to see a little bit, right? We're starting to see price maybe kind of hug this 9 EMA. 4 hour maybe showing a little bit of signs of maybe a loss of momentum to some degree to the upside. We're building up a little bit of strength here, but nonetheless, we still are hugging the 9 EMA. We're below our daily VWAP, remaining firmly above our 20, our 50, our 100, and our 200 EMAs here, or SMAs. I think I have set up here. So again, all giving us indications that price remains strong. But I would say that maybe we are losing a little, especially on this chart. Maybe it'll be even more evident on the 30-minute chart. It feels like we're losing a little bit of momentum. We're starting to build up some volume here, right? You can see that our volume bars maybe even creating maybe a little bit of a double distribution here, right? We're maybe creating a little bit of potential range kind of price action up here at the highs. Okay. So let's take a look here at the 30-minute chart. Looking at the 30-minute chart again, you can see that we are in a little bit of range. We're starting to see some of these SMAs kind of group together here, kind of have a meeting to decide on exactly where they want to take this market. So again, it's very much obvious here, right? We're starting to build that double distribution that we had mentioned. We still are technically higher volume here above this one lower. We've managed to increase the volume up here to the upside, but we have kind of a double distribution profile here. So again, on the lower time frame charts, we're starting to see maybe a little bit of a mix of ribbons here, right? Kind of consolidating, kind of deciding on exactly which direction they want to take this market. So we're going to take a look here first at the fixed range volume profile here. Yeah, we haven't closed above the VWAP in a while. Correct. So that could be an indication, as much as it's probably not the best, to equity, to short equity markets, right? But nonetheless, we are seeing some indication that we are seeing some slowdown in the upward move. Okay, as long as price remains below our VWAP, then I would say that is reasonable, right? We're kind of coming off here. I think this is the 100-day simple moving average, if I'm not mistaken. I think so. This is 50. This is 100. Okay, so we are kind of holding above the 100 SMA. So again, this would give us an indication that maybe that we are potentially headed higher. But I would agree with you, Faye. Probably if we are going to entertain longs, then I'd like to see price get above and hold above the VWAP, right? Okay, so let's take a look at our fixed range volume profile here. It feels like we are in some sort of range here in this market, okay, since Friday. So, but we'll confirm that. Okay, so we'll drive that across. And sure enough, we are smack in the middle of range. Okay. So probably, honestly, guys, as much as I know a lot of you love trading the Nasdaq, the fact that we are inside range from Friday, and really haven't been able to make any headway in either direction. Probably is a day that we need to become a little bit, maybe remain a bit patient, okay, in this market, and wait for price to maybe break outside of these ranges before we participate in any sort of directional move in this market, because it does indicate that we are in some sort of consolidation. And I don't know about you guys, when I'm in consolidation, that leads to what kind of price action? If I'm inside an area of balance, what's that generally lead to? Chop, right? And you've heard me say this before, right? I love chop suey on my plate, but not on my charting platform. Okay. I'd like the market to be in a directional market. And if the market is not directional, well, it's probably I'm best served to sit on the sidelines until the market gets directional. Okay. All right. But nonetheless, we did see a nice extension here to the downside in the Asia market, right? Chop, exactly. We did see a nice extension to the downside, not quite the 200%, but did get to our this point of control on the visible range volume profile. It's amazing to me how these high volume nodes offer us destinations and targets for price here. Okay. Let's see. So Asia was lower. Let's take a look and see what no, yeah, let's take a look and see what London was able to do with this market. I suspect it's probably a bit mixed here. All right, yeah, exactly. So London was really undecided as to where to take this market. London really did not offer anything in the way of any sort of opportunity here. Again, unless we like chop, this is about as good as chop as you're going to get here. We're starting to see maybe some indication here that maybe we are in an area of some sort of demand. We still remain below our VWAP. So as Faye mentioned earlier, we probably are better served in waiting for price to maybe break above some of these levels before we entertain any sort of long trades in this market. Otherwise, there's certainly the possibility that we could extend lower here. Yeah, London definitely was serving chop suey, no doubt. Okay, not a market that we want to be a part of. Asia was a little bit better in that respect. It offered us, a nice opportunity. So the expectation is that should we come back maybe to initial balance high or this value area high, those same sellers that drove price during Asia could potentially step back in, and continue to drive price lower. That's certainly not out of the realm of possibility here. Okay. All right. So again, headed into the session, I would say that I'm probably gonna I'm gonna say neutral. All right, neutral. I'm gonna remain neutral here. I was gonna say neutral to bearish, but it's on the higher time frame. I do know that we are in the still in some bullish price structure, but I would say that given the fact that we are inside this balance range from Friday, that we could potentially expect maybe some more consolidation happening here as we head into the New York session. Okay, so I'm going to say neutral to potentially maybe a bit on the bearish side. Okay, assuming that we can remain below our VWAP, I'll go ahead and make that claim. Okay, all right. Let's go ahead and take a look at the ES here and see what the ES had to offer here. Daily chart, again, similar kind of thing. We got an inside candle here, so that's showing maybe a little bit more in the way of weakness here. Inside candle, so we're inside the range from again, another indication that we're inside the daily range. Yeah, both London and Asia offering greater than the width on the initial balance range. So yes, that's also contributing to our view that we are in some sort of range. Okay, so again, daily chart still indicating some indication of some bullish price action. Again, as I mentioned in the Nasdaq, we are seeing maybe a little bit of a slowdown, right? Well, especially with this candle here, a little bit of slowdown maybe in the momentum to the upside. So which could maybe lead us to maybe a little bit of a pullback or maybe continued range before we decide on which direction we want to take the market. The fact that gold is headed higher leads me to believe, since they're not correlate, they're reverse correlated markets, that maybe we are due for maybe a little bit of a pullback in these markets. Okay. Given what I'm seeing on the gold. But again, I don't trade, I trade what I see. And while gold is indicating higher prices, it's not the first time I've seen both gold and equities move in the same direction. But it does, often lead, if gold is moving higher, chances are the equities are probably going to be pulling back here a little bit. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 4-hour chart. All right. Looking at the 4-hour chart. So we're going to go ahead and turn off our initial balance ranges here. We'll turn off our initial balance. We'll keep our ribbons. Okay, we'll see if I can widen this out. We'll remove some of our drawings because they'll get a little cluttered here. So again, you can see that price is below our VWAP, technically below our 9 EMA, hovering around our 20 SMA here. Okay, again, giving us some indication, but you can see here, right? Just looking at these candle form, just looking at structure here, right? The momentum to the upside is slowing, right? We're not getting the kind of power behind some of these moves outside of this move here. But I think that was I don't know exactly what generated and what news generated that, but we are seeing again a lot more in the way of overlapping price, right? Which kind of leads us to believe that maybe we'll see a little bit of a pullback in this market, right? Certainly back down to 66, 68 would not be out of the realm of possibility from current levels. That would not be out of the realm of possibility. And if we do get below that, then maybe we revisit some of these lower prices. Okay. Yeah, this might be a FOMC. Yeah, certainly possible. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at the 30-minute chart. Okay, 30-minute chart. Again, you can see similar to what we were seeing in the Nasdaq. We're seeing that price is below our VWAP, below our what I think this is our 20 EMA, below our 9 EMA. But we are seeing, price maybe develop a little bit of we haven't made a new low, right? Haven't made a new low. On the contrary, we developed maybe a little bit of interest here on the buy side against some prior areas of demand. Okay, so while I'm starting to see some structure here to the downside, I'm also understand that I am coming into an area where I have seen some buyers in the past, and they could potentially step into this market. Now, again, similar to what the Nasdaq, I'd like to see price. If I'm going to be bullish, I'd like to see price get above my VWAP, above my 20 EMA or 20 SMA, and above my 9 EMA to really entertain a long, right? So right now, we're showing maybe a little bit more weakness. We're seeing on the 30-minute that we are below, or actually hovering right around our 100 SMA. We did see a cross of the 9 EMA across our VWAP, across below our 20, as well as our 50. Okay. So the question now becomes, are we going to continue? All right. Are we going to continue lower? Well, we have some logical locations here, right, for that to take place here, right around this level here at 67.07. All right. So let's take a look here at the fixed range volume profile. Let's get a sense for where we are in the way of price as of Friday, but I think it's going to tell us the same that we saw in the NASDAQ. All right. You can see that we are actually at the lower end of value here. We're hovering at the lower end of value. So I would say that the ES is showing maybe a little bit more weakness than the NASDAQ at this point, right? We're below value. So there is some interest here to the downside, or maybe people are maybe potentially accumulating here, right? Maybe there's some accumulation that's going on to potentially drive price higher. Price had to retrace quite a bit from this swing in order to locate buyers. So that's, kind of maybe some indication of some sort of weakness here. Okay. Let's go ahead and open up our initial balances across the various sessions and see what they were able to do. Well, you can see Asia was short on this market. It did manage to, did not quite get to the 200% extension, but got to the 150% extension to the downside. Really didn't offer any. Well, I guess you could maybe have made a case here that you did get a little bit of confirmation here to enter short on this break of the initial balance range to the downside. Looking at the London session, London also looks like maybe it's going to be kind of barcoding here a little bit, similar to what we were seeing in the NASDAQ. Okay. Yeah, exactly, Faye. I think the equities are saying that we need to remain patient until we get some sort of directional structure. Correct. That is sound advice, Faye. Okay. I'm in no rush. I'm in no rush to participate in the equities today. Okay. Not with this kind of price action, not with what I'm seeing in London. So yes, it is best to wait for some sort of structure to indicate which direction they plan on taking this market. All right. So yeah, similar to the NASDAQ, it appears that we are kind of developing some sort of price action that indicates that we are in some sort of range. Looking at the Dow, we're going to go ahead and remove some of our drawings here. Maybe even maybe some more weakness in the Dow. Okay. Looking at the daily, yeah, Dow certainly showing a bit more weakness. But again, guys, like I had mentioned before, even with this weakness, even with this slowdown, we are still technically right inside this bullish channel here, right? So if I take as many of these candles as I can, incorporate as much as I can. Now, are we challenging? Yes. Have we broken and closed below? No, right? So until that takes place, and we won't know that until probably tomorrow, or actually the end of today's session, but we are definitely seeing a little bit of a slowdown here to the upside in this market. All right, looking at the 4-hour chart, we're going to go ahead and turn off our initial balance range here for a moment. We're going to turn off, remove some of our drawings here, so you can see that price is starting to get below some of these SMAs that we had talked about. Again, I would say similar to the ES, the Dow is showing some weakness, probably a little bit more weakness than the NASDAQ, right? We see price below our VWAP, below our 9, below our 20 EMA or 20 SMA. So, having price come back down to this high volume node and maybe fill in maybe some of this area right here to kind of maybe help repair some of this distribution here that we're seeing on the right with our volume profile is not hanging around this level, would not be out of the realm of possibilities here. Okay. Looking at the 30-minute chart. Okay. Looking at the 30-minute chart, again, you can see that price remains below. We've kind of reached on this chart, we've reached the 200 SMA, okay, which is actually showing quite a bit of weakness, okay, unlike some of the other equity markets, right? We've come down to the 200 SMA, so we've kind of maybe reached maybe an even more important level for the bulls to potentially hold, right? So yeah, so Dow definitely showing more weakness. I'm going to take a look here at the fixed range volume profile, and I would say that maybe we are even below value here. Let's take a look here. Yeah, below value from Friday. Okay, so indicating that there's some weakness in this market. All right. We'll take a look and see what the initial balance ranges for some of these markets indicate for us. So we'll take a look at the Asia session to start, followed by London, then followed. Okay, so you can see that we got a nice extension to the downside and continue to stay lower. Okay, has not really recovered as well as the Nasdaq or the ES. Nasdaq or ES were not able to stay in range. Actually, Dow has not been able to stay in range. It's kind of continued to the downside. So let's go ahead and open up the London session here. Looking at the London session, you can see that we actually managed to break below the range that we've established here for London. Now, does this have the potential of maybe being a failed auction to the downside? It sure does, right? We have the 200 SMA here, showing some signs of maybe reversal in price. Seeing price maybe come back to VWAP or maybe back to some of these SMAs that we have above would not be out of the realm of possibility here. Okay. And then maybe at these levels provide us maybe another kind of a move lower. Okay. That's not out of the realm of possibility. I'm going to take a look here at ADR here, since I feel like maybe we've reached maybe some extensions. Yeah. So we are almost at the average daily range low. So this 46,394 would not. So again, would not be out of the realm of possibility here that we make maybe another leg lower in this market before we head higher. Again, that's kind of statistics kind of working in our favor. All right. But I would say yes, the Dow does indeed look a little bit more weaker than say the other markets. Okay. All right. With that said, with about 10 minutes, we'll make one final pass across the various markets here. We'll take a look at the gold market. So we kind of reacting nicely off of the this is I believe it's London, the London range here. So we're getting some sort of reaction of an initial balance high. Again, technically have not made a new high here, but it looks like it's intent on maybe retesting the conviction of some of these sellers, if these are true sellers or whether these are folks that maybe were taking on maybe a little bit of profit off the table in the gold market. All right. So we'll open up the day session and get a sense of what kind of initial balance range is getting established here. So we have our two candles here, relatively narrow range. Again, if we are able to break, we're above all the things that we care about to the long side, including the 9 EMA. So if we do manage to get above, say 37.62, that should cause us to break above this initial balance zone, and then we can use 37.94 as an area maybe for a potential stop, and that could give us another maybe potential leg higher here. Okay. Let's see. I'm just going to do a little bit of Fibonacci analysis here just to see where this could land. Okay, so doing this up to here, down to here. Okay, so there's our 61.8% extension, which lands nicely at our 100%. And then we have the 100% extension, which puts us somewhere above the 200% range of the current range. Okay, so I would say headed into the session, I would say I'm kind of maybe more bullish than neutral in the gold market, since we had a gap open higher. I think there's still a fair amount of interest here to the upside in this gold market. So, but again, we need to continue to see structure that indicates that. Okay. Pay your like, tax viewers. It's free. Yes, Faye. I agree. All right, let's take a look at crude oil. Again, crude oil, I think we need to continue to look to entertain shorts in this market. You can see that we've pretty much reached the ADR low here. I feel like we are a bit extended here to the downside at this point. So for myself, I could either entertain maybe as a counter trend trade, right? That would lead me back to say VWAPs, all right? Or yeah, still a valid short. I would say it's still a valid short, but I would say that we need to, me personally, we need to wait, for some sort of pullback. I have a hard time participating in this kind of directional move here, and don't want to pay necessarily retail to be a part of that short, Aslan. So I'm gonna be waiting for some level above me, right, to entertain any sort of short in this market. All right, Nasdaq. Okay, like we had mentioned earlier, it seems to be in some sort of range. Although we're starting to see some signs that maybe we've caught a little bit of a bid. Okay, in this market, we came down to this. What's this range? I think this is the 100 EMA or 100 SMA, and now we've created a little bit of a double bottom. We'll be curious to see if we do manage to close above the VWAP here. I do see that we still are in an area of sellers could potentially step into this market, but I can't deny the recent price action. Right, we did close above the 9, and now we're challenging the VWAP here. If we manage to close above VWAP, then and with some volume, then a retest of VWAP could offer me a trade that maybe would take me back to the highs here. Okay. Otherwise, VWAP is going to offer me a location where I can maybe continue to look for a bearish trade, right? But again, I'm going to be looking at this kind of channel here, potentially to offer me kind of that kind of location opportunity. Okay. All right. So yeah. So I would say I'm still neutral. I would say neutral. I don't think there's really anything. I mean, outside of the fact that we closed above the 9 EMA, kind of working our way up against this VWAP. This candle has yet to close. Has not to close. It will close here in the next 4 minutes. Again, this area above me could be a sell area, right? And that would kind of keep us in some sort of range in this price, in this market. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at the ES here. ES also giving us kind of a similar look and feel here. We have kind of developed a little bit of area. I think the NASDAQ is probably a little bit further along in its kind of bullish attempts here. We have created a little bit of a double bottom in the ES that could lead us to price headed higher. But again, I'd like to see price get above our VWAP. I'd like to see maybe VWAP kind of curl. Like to see some volume come into this market that would lead me to believe that there is, some serious interest here to the buy side. Right now, this volume is not giving me a strong indication of that. I'm seeing that maybe bulls are kind of dabbling in this market, but not coming in with any sort of aggressive buying at this point, right? If anything, this was aggressive selling. 60,000 sell orders came in here. Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's take one last peek at the Dow. The Dow appears to be the weakest, although it's kind of reacting away. Price currently is not aligned with the volume that we're getting at this point. We're getting some bullish candle, although and a good amount of volume, not good amount, but certainly volume to the downside. Has not really translated into price as of yet. So as long as we remain below VWAP, below 9 EMA, I would say again, prices look to be heading lower. Okay. So again, across all the equities, I would say that we're kind of mixed, right? We're seeing the indications of both. We are in range, so we need to be careful with the equity markets until we get into some sort of structure in either direction. I would say in the equities, I would say that I'm kind of leaning on long in the gold and short in the crude oil. Yeah, so I think that's kind of pretty much where we stand, guys. Happy to entertain any questions here last couple minutes. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and again make my continued appeal here to encourage you guys to hit the like, hit the subscribe, make a comment or two on the portal, and let me know that this analysis is supporting your ability to navigate the markets. Thank you, Aslan. I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much. Thank you, Dirk. Appreciate that. All right, guys. We'll go ahead and close off the session here, guys. as we close most sessions, trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. Have an excellent day trading, guys, and we'll talk again soon.